Hey everyone, welcome to my channel. Welcome back. My name is Kendra Curry and I am a certified life and relationship coach. For those who have joined, who are tuning in for the first time, here I discuss just very uplifting, very encouraging, very motivating things as far as dating, relationships, everything in between, life, and all that good stuff. So right now, I'm picking up on a part 2 of a topic, the road of singleness to marriage part 2. I'm going to be kind of just adding in some more details to that. I kind of went in detail, kind of not on my last video. So I want to just go a little bit into that more and just kind of state, like, while you're on the road to singleness, what it may look like. First off, let's just say that not having an objective, being single, is by far one of the worst things you can do. And you kind of want to make sure that you have an objective because it will help guide you throughout the process, and you're not just sitting feeling like you're waiting on Mr. or Mrs. Right. It'll give you clarity having that objective, because you're not going to allow or let too many things that don't match up with your objective in. So you want to kind of create a foundation for yourself while you're single, because again, it's a very, one-on-one thing between you and God. This should be time that you're spending to kind of get to know yourself, to know the ins and outs of yourself, because you want to start now creating and laying a foundation that's going to follow you once you're married. Because for those who have watched my channel who know that I was at one point when married and I'm now divorced, I'm a divorcee. You want to, while you're in this season of singleness, I'm noticing what I didn't do before and what I didn't know, just some of my pitfalls that I'm going to share, that, it's basically a road to this thing. It's not just you by yourself. You have help, you have God, you have resources. Okay. I would say that I didn't even know that there was a road that people, follow. Really, I just thought it was okay. You just wake up one day and you just want to get married, and you believe in God, and then that's it. And you're married. Okay. Or voila, you're married. But no, it's so much more. It's so much more objectified than that, because once you're actually married, you're going to start unpacking things, and you're going to start noticing things that you either have or you didn't. And one day, God gave me this little quick analogy, and I just thought it was so amazing, because I love to shop. What woman doesn't? But he's just like, imagine being invited to a party, or being invited to like this huge like masquerade nice ball or whatever, and you have to go pick you out some clothes, get ready for this ball. And imagine getting to the ball and you're underprepared. Imagine getting there and you don't have the right things you need. Sometimes once you're married, you're gonna start unpacking things, and you're gonna realize, I didn't have self-control. I didn't know I was needing that. Or I didn't know I was gonna need temperance. All these things you begin to start to unpack when you're married. If you don't have it, if you're lucky, your marriage worked, and it's great, to have these things before you get married, so that it doesn't cause any problems when you don't have self-control, or when you don't have an obedient mindset, or when you don't have a focused mindset. Because marriage is it's for obedient people. It's not for disobedient, hard to listen to, unself-controlled people. It is a very controlled place. When I mean controlled, not like in a bad way, but it's a controlled environment, meaning people are regulating their emotions, they're regulating their feelings, they're not bleeding on one another, they're not abusing one another. It's a very healthy place, marriage is. So it's nothing like the dating world, where in the dating world it's a very kind of messy sometimes, kind of just free-spirited place, you know. So when you're making that transition into marriage, you should want it to be a very smooth transition. You want to have the tools, the skills that you need. So having an objective while you're single is one of the best things that I can say that you can have, and it will keep you focused in singleness, which will help you get more aligned once you're married, and you're not trying to like look for it all over the place when you're married. You're not looking for self-control from relatives to kind of try to help tell you how to do this and how to do that when you're married, because it's going to be between you, God, and your spouse, and you want to go ahead and start that relationship now with God. If you haven't already started to begin to build that trust, build that foundation, you want to go ahead and start doing that now while you're single, and God will be so helpful in doing that and sitting with you and showing you how to do that. But just being mindful while you're single is definitely important. Having that objective when you're single is definitely important, is to be mindful other than just you know, twiddling, waiting on Mr. Right. You are sitting here, or Mrs. Right, you're not sitting here just twiddling your thumbs. Find you something to do, you know, spend time in nature, slow down, because you could be going through some very tumultuous things from your past, from your childhood. Really sitting with those things and really unpacking them may look like, you know, spending time with yourself and just kind of becoming one with yourself, because you've been kind of probably spread out so thin from dating a lot of people at one time. You're just trying to breathe right now while you're single before you get married, so you can know how to create that solid foundation that you're going to need nice and ready and laid for your marriage. You're going to want to make sure that you sit quiet and be mindful, you know, so that you're not on autopilot, because sometimes when we're dating, we're on autopilot and we're just like jumping in and out of the next thing, you know. We're just like going on dates, you know, getting good looking, you know, just trying to like please this other person, and it's all like, oh, can I just breathe sometimes? Like, can I just have a minute? So yes, definitely practice meditation while you're single, because you will definitely need it when you're married. I would say practicing these things, focusing on one thing at a time, is definitely helpful when you're single. Spending time in nature, you know, have you spent time at home just learning how to clean up, just learning how to not be with anyone? You know, some days it can be kind of lonely when you're single, but have you enjoyed being not lonely but alone? Have you enjoyed that time? You know, really, when was the last time you just put on a movie with yourself and said, I'm just going to enjoy my own company because I can do that and it feels good. You know, I don't have to call up nobody. Because once you're married, that is going to transition into looking like, uh-oh, I don't have anybody to call. But you will have that person, but sometimes it, you know, necessarily doesn't mean that they're always going to be there when you're married. They may have a business trip, they may have an engagement, they have to be gone. Do you know how to manage yourself by yourself and not feel like you always have to call somebody, or always have to hang out, or always have to catch the next thing? Have you practiced that type of mindfulness? Because you're going to need it. Okay, so being at one with God during this time is so important. It's so critical, and I would say just don't undermine what you and God can do while you're single, because I have seen God do so many amazing things for me. And just preparing in this way for marriage, I know that I'm laying like an amazing foundation for myself, because I've learned how to manage my emotions in a way because of meditation, because of just mindfulness. It's all a great foundation that you're going to need for when you're married. And I, again, have already gotten confirmation that God does have me on this road to getting the spouse that He has for me, not the one that I chose for me. So I know that I am on the right path, and that I'm doing the right things that are needed in order to obtain what God has for me. And again, that has to be a calling that God does have for you. I don't believe that everybody sometimes maybe called for marriage, but you know, that's neither here nor there. But people still do it, and that's just with the world. But you want to make sure that you're doing it the God way, the right way, that will sustain and last, so that you're not just creating a pattern of divorce. Okay, so yeah, I think I covered a few things here. Basically, there are some things too that some people want to touch on, some people don't, and this is something that I just believe that God wants me to address. While you're single, this is not the time to be spreading yourself thin and having sex. So that is an objective, and that should be a goal, and because that can translate into so many things, but I know we do all fall short, and we all do make mistakes, and it's not to beat yourself up and make yourself feel bad, but do you have an awareness of your sexual energy? Because if lust is not controlled while you're single, it's gonna be very hard to control that lust when you're married. So right now, while you're single, it's good to practice self-control and not practicing how to sleep around, because you are needing to practice oneness, practicing being in control of your lust, and that lust factor while you're single will definitely lay a great foundation. I know some people speak about, they have spoke about masturbating. It does, for me, I don't believe in it, because it leaves like an energy that, you know, you feel like you want more, you're wanting more, and it's just like it can't be fulfilled. And sometimes in marriage, you're not going to always be able to always fulfill the sexual desires that you may have, because what if the other person is sick, or what if the other person is out of town? You need to know how to control that lust when you are single, so that it easily translates, because it's just a transition point. So when you're married, you want to be able to make sure you have that under control, and that you are not depending solely on lust. And it's okay to lust after your spouse, but you're not creating this lustful behavior, you know, after pornography or after so many people, and it's just like a hard desire to contain, you know. Just while you're single, it's really good to practice. Try it. So just knowing your triggers while you're single, that's another thing. What makes you upset? Just being self-aware. These are all objectives, I would say, while you're single, to get an idea of, you know, just keeping the mindfulness there, keeping the purity there. These objectives will keep you busy, keeping the lust down, just, you know, practicing all these things that are going to translate into your marriage will help cultivate, I believe, a healthy marriage. Really just spending time with yourself, knowing yourself, and just being aware of what your triggers are will help you stay with an objective while you're single, on that road of singleness. So you're not just sitting, waiting, twiddling your thumbs for the right one. You're actually engaging with God daily, asking Him to show you any areas of lust that you may be struggling with, any areas of anger, frustration that may translate into your marriage. If there's something that triggers you, like a death of a loved one, if that triggers you to make you fall back into some kind of like depression, you know, or anxiety, know your triggers. You know, if you have a family member that went to jail, or is dealing with a situation with their spouse and it triggers you, knowing where those triggers are good, so that once you do get married, you can kind of already have a system in place to help you effectively handle problems when they come, so that they don't bleed into your marriage and cause you guys to separate and divorce. So it's all about building a trust relationship with God. It's all about finding, right now while you're single, anything in your life or anything in your soul that would cause you to question where is God, you want to start addressing those things now while you're single, so that once you're married, you're not questioning where God is. You already know where he is, because when you were single, he was there for you, and he was showing you how to get through it. He was showing you, when you were single, how to work through anger. He showed you to sign up for anger management class. He showed you to get some resources. He showed you all of this stuff while you're single, so then when you're married, you're not sitting here wondering, uh-oh, where is God? I don't know what to do, and you're freaking out and panicking once you're married, because it can happen, and it does. So being really proactive while you're single is a huge benefit. You'll be ahead of the curve. You'll make a successful husband, wife out of yourself if you're spending time with yourself, practicing mindfulness, and just really having those objectives identified before you begin to embark on dating. You know, the road of singleness to marriage, we're going to make some mistakes. You know, we're going to feel pressure from people around us to get married. We're going to feel pressure from our married friends to get married and date. But I truly believe it is a place for you and God to really become one, sitting with those things that trigger you, sitting with your triggers, sitting with your lusts, knowing how to gain control over those lusts, praying through those things, fasting through those things, speaking in tongues through those things, consecrating yourself through those things. And once you get married, it'll translate into the marriage to create a healthy, lasting marriage. I pray that you have clarity in your singleness, and I pray that this journey is a very exciting journey for you, as it has been for me. I pray that you're spending time in nature and traveling and seeing the world, and I pray that you are allowing God's presence to direct you and discipline you, and that you're not running from being single. You're not rushing to marriage. You're not caught up in the wedding details. You're not caught up in the engagement proposal. You're not caught up in anything that would distract you from being the best single you by yourself. That is my prayer for so many women, for so many men who have been through a lot, because there are some bigger problems sometimes that come out in marriage. And I just pray that you are spending time with yourself, getting to know yourself, and assessing yourself, so that you can be the best you when you do get married. My prayer is that everyone address those big issues that will try to show up in your life, and you're not struggling trying to cover up those big issues, and then those big issues kind of lead to other small issues, and then you're trying to not address all of the small, and then the bigger issues are still there. I just pray that everything is uncovered that needs to be uncovered, that everything is addressed that needs to be addressed while you're on this road to singleness. I hope that you've allowed the love and the light of God to really sit with you and shine the light on those dark areas in your life, because they can translate into marriage, and you want to be the most effective, engaging partner that you can be for the person who God has for you, because He is sending you an amazing person who cares for you, who loves you, and who has His desire, God's desires in their objectives for you. You know, they're working on being a submitted spouse. They're working on being a great spouse just like you are. So I pray that your singleness will translate into a great marriage and a healthy marriage and a healthy and happy life for the both of you. So God bless you all. Until next time, see you later.